sky is great. Cool hideout, fancy hoverboards.
And no one can tell me to wear a shirt. Oh no! It's the mega famous Battletoads, including Zitz, the leader, Pimple, the strong one, and Rash, the sunglasses one.
The original Battletoads debuted in 1991 on the NES with a brutally difficult yet exciting adventure that frequently introduced new ideas. The amphibious team then found their way to various platforms, and they even crossed paths with Billy and Jimmy for a Double Dragon crossover. The future seemed bright, but after the arcade game performed poorly in 1994, the series went into hibernation. Now, 26 years later, the Toads are back and looking to steal the spotlight. The story integrates this real-world absence, beginning after the Battletoads emerge from a bunker where they've been simulating life as world heroes. Much to their shock and disappointment, no one knows who they are. Soon enough, they begin searching for their old nemesis, the Dark Queen, in an effort to become relevant again. The story is hit and miss, with crude humor and self-referential meta-jokes that don't always land. It is a very particular style of comedy that may not connect with everyone. There are some genuinely funny moments, but some players may find certain story beats unbearable.
So, frogs, how you feeling? Stupid?
We're not frogs. We're toads.
The Battletoads.
We're famous superheroes.
This just in. No, you're not. This has been Julie Saturn Rings asking, what are they going to do now?
There are 4 acts, each broken into a varied number of individual stages. Battletoads is primarily a beat-em-up on the surface, but similar to the 1991 release, it incorporates different genres to mix things up. Each of the 3 titular Toads brings his own set of attacks, and they all vary in speed and power. Pimple is slow but deals heavy damage. Zitz is the quickest and excels at air juggles, while Rash falls somewhere in the middle. Standard attacks are the primary way to dish out damage, while launch attacks can buy you a few seconds of time. Morph attacks are essential, and when properly used, they can break through enemy defenses. You can also use your tongue to grab enemies and shoot bubblegum to temporarily stun annoying foes. Lastly, you can dash to avoid damage, as enemies will constantly try to flank you. It's not overly complicated, with just enough depth to remain engaging throughout the 4-hour journey, primarily because, even on normal difficulty, your Toads can be KO'd in just a few hits. The game was obviously designed with 3-player co-op in mind, but there is shockingly no online support, which, unfortunately, forced us to play solo. When playing on your own, you can switch to each Toad on the fly to chain combos together, and when one character falls in combat, they revive after a short cooldown. For the most part, it doesn't feel like you miss out on too much by playing alone, but the absence of companions is definitely felt in later minigames. Most of the enemies you face are weird alien creatures. Each has attacks that need to be dealt with in certain ways, like the axe throwers that can destroy you in an instant, or electrical enemies that utilize powerful area of effect attacks. Usually spamming dodge and light attack gets the job done. However, this leads to some monotony as the game goes on. Even though the game is short, stages still somehow manage to feel too long with repetitive backgrounds and predictable enemy encounters.
It's the Queen! Punch! Let go, Pimple!
You're not punching a baby.
But it's ugly!
Drop the ugly baby.
Don't really drop it though, just set it down gently.
Most acts culminate with a boss battle, and they offer what you'd expect from the genre with cool visuals and traditional movesets that require you to dodge before pounding away on an oversized health bar. With how wild and chaotic the game is, the final boss is pretty tame and could have benefited from something more befitting of a finale. As a result, the journey ends on an anticlimactic note.
When I've cleaned myself up, then we're renting turbo bikes, baby! Woohoo! Battletoads reboot!
The infamous turbo bikes return, and modern conveniences like checkpoints alleviate the punishing difficulty of the original game. That's not to say it's easy, as some of the later stages offer a considerable challenge. These speedy courses are a nice change of pace from the deliberate beat-em-up stages and have a consistent, high-stakes energy to them. Barely surviving as you dodge obstacles and jump narrow gaps leads to some memorable highlights. Other standout stages see Pimple navigating non-combat platforming areas while solving environmental puzzles. These levels have a vibe similar to Donkey Kong Country, with soothing music and even DK's signature roll jump. There are also bullet hell space combat levels that are so fun they could be their own game. The enemy variety isn't the greatest, but with only a few stages, it's not really an issue. Sprinkled throughout the main acts are smaller minigames that often pit the Battletoads against one another or have them taking turns to solve various puzzles. This is where having friends online or family next to you would surely enhance the enjoyment, but even solo, some of these diversions are still fun, while others feel like filler. The striking visuals are reminiscent of a Saturday morning cartoon with fluid animations. The hand-drawn style especially shines during the numerous cutscenes and the signature morph attacks, and there's always something colorful that draws your attention. Battletoads tries to do a lot in a short amount of time and mostly succeeds. The core beat-em-up stages drag on a little too long, and the comedy is hit or miss, but there are enough other ideas mixed in to break up the pace and keep things interesting. It may not be the most triumphant comeback, but it's a decent homecoming for Rare's irreverent heroes.
We're gonna be famous! Sup, Topian scum? We just stole a spaceship, and we're coming for you. And in case you're wondering, our exact space coordinates are 3x543. Stop that!
In addition to reviews, be sure to check out our series Don't Skip for a closer look at titles we think should get a little more attention. Ben Moore recently published his take on Destroy All Humans, flying UFOs, and terrorizing suburbia. All of our videos are made possible by generous viewers just like you. Contribute at patreon.com/easyallies to help us make more. For just $1 a month, you can gain access to weekly updates, spoiler discussions, and exclusive shows.
We are God! We are God!
What the? Tony, cut the work! There's friggin' frogs in here!